And if you can imagine, that wasn't just us, that was everybody, right?
Yeah.
So you got Meg Calloway, Oscar Isaac, and Ethan Hawke giving all their input and wisdom into it.
Hi, Ash Cross and that's Green Red. How you guys doing?
Good. How are you?
I'm just so excited for this series. I love the first 4 episodes so much, and I can't wait to see where it goes.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So can you guys tell me about your path to Marvel and what that looked like and how this came about for you guys?
Yeah, we met about a little over 10 years ago and started making tiny, no budget independent feature films. First one called Resolution. And when that played the Tribeca Film Festival, that's kind of where it all began. And we since then made 4 successive independent feature films since then. And then one day after making our most recent one with basically no crew, essentially no crew, the phone rang, and
and it was essentially the biggest potential job offer of our lives. It was like, you might be a good match for this. And then we, got nose to the grindstone developing a pitch. But yeah, and it was pretty wild because, I guess this speaks to how intelligent the powers that be are, but it really just felt like we were brought in to just do what we've been doing, and that we were empowered and encouraged to do that. And just at a bigger scale, but that we could still make something that feels personal, something that feels emotional, something that feels like it's about being a human being. But doing it at this giant level that we had never worked at before, but very quickly discovered that it's almost exactly the same as making a $20,000 movie.
I was going to say, this might be the same answer, but what surprised you most about working with Marvel?
It actually was. You are correct. It is the same answer, that we were really surprised to find how democratic it really is, how they just actually really like being surprised, and they find the same things interesting that we find interesting. They're really open to a lot of our guidance. So in the same way that, Oscar wasn't just saying words on a page. He was heavily involved in the development of the character and the dialogue and even the shape of the scenes and all of that. In that same way, Marvel empowered us to just chase down our craziest ideas. And we were really excited that ended up being the case.
And if you can imagine, that wasn't just us, that was everybody, right?
Yeah.
So you got Meg Calloway, Oscar Isaac, and Ethan Hawke giving all their input and wisdom into it. And, it's like, well, Ethan Hawke, you got someone who he participated in writing the Before trilogy. He's written 3 brilliant novels, 1 or 2 couple other books. He's an accomplished theater actor, director, and one of our greatest actors. And not just great actors, someone who chooses just such beautiful, bold material over and over. And if that guy's in a room and he's like, I got an idea, and it could go through, then and that happened about 1 million times.
Yeah. I love how you guys finish each other's sandwiches, by the way. No, but this is you're right. This is a cast that I'm sure Marvel has been eyeing for a very long time. What is it like just seeing Oscar work? Like I was saying, when you see Steven and Mark, they don't have to say anything and you can tell who is who just by looking at their face.
Yes, that was the biggest surprise to us too, because we were worried as directors. We're like, how are we going to tell the audience, besides the accent, how are we going to know who is who? Especially if it's just a look, because semi-often that does happen, that the alter that is inside is looking. And we realized on day one that we didn't need it. Oscar can hold his face and his posture in a way that as soon as you look at him, you know who he is. And by the way, neither of those two are anything like the real Oscar Isaac. So he had 3 people going on, that was really interesting as well. What an unbelievable blessing, both that we didn't need to work any harder as directors in order to figure out how to keep it at least just clear for the audience. And in fact, we're able to just sit back and in many ways present it as if there were just 2 physical people standing looking at each other, and figuring out their issues. It's a gift.
Yeah. How much do you guys think about the greater MCU when you're making Moon Knight? Because I know it is contained, but you got to be like, where are we in the time? What's going on? Do you guys think about that?
I think there might be a broader consideration of the fact that we're working in a superhero space, right? And then it's like, there's so much, obviously a lot of content these days out there. So you want to make sure that you're bringing something new to it. I mean, hopefully everything you're doing is new, but you're standing on the shoulders of giants of so much amazing material. And it's just, it can be a little intimidating, just being like, okay, how do we do this differently? And, but we never felt like we were boxed in by any consideration of an idea of continuity from other characters or anything.
Yeah. And we know you guys are also doing Loki season 2 as well, which seems like an excellent match. What intrigued you about season 1? Why, what are you excited about with Loki?
Oh man. Well, it's actually funny because Loki came out while we were directing Moon Knight. And so we actually looked to the first season of Loki and Kate's amazing work on it to see what we were allowed to do with Moon Knight. Exactly how subversive and how bold and interesting can it be. And so watching that season actually empowered us because she in some ways was blazing a trail for us. And so, all of that stuff is then going to fold back on itself in season 2 because all of that boldness that she put into season 1, we learned on Moon Knight and realized that Marvel is all about that. And we're just going to then fold it right back into the cake batter of season 2.
Yeah. Anything to add?
No, just that, I guess, we feel really grateful that we've been able to participate in telling stories with these characters who are oftentimes non-traditional heroes. They're not perfect. They're literally defined by in some ways, by their imperfections, and they feel like they're sort of outsiders to the ones that would have more traditional hero aspects to them. So it's exciting to be able to work with characters like that. These imperfect outsiders.
Well, I'm so excited for you guys. Thank you so much. That's my time. So lovely talking to you.
Thank you.
Thanks.